Blessed be he, master and creator of all eternity. All that he is, all that he was, is, and is to come. He is Yah. He is master. He's creator. Hallelujah to the King of glory who reigns supreme in every situation, in every circumstance. Family, he's got it all under control, regardless of what we say, what we see, what we hear, what we feel. He, the creator and master of all, has everything under control, whether you believe it or not. He does. Hallelujah. Today, we were gonna continue the class on prebiotics, but we're gonna use, the reason why I left this out, because there's some herbs on here or some spices that we're going to talk about as well. Now, this past week, someone posed questions for me about flus and viruses. And if you guys would do me a favor, go back on the other broadcast. Which broadcast was it that I was telling them about coming up with herbs on, and I got my little cheat sheet that I made for them, on colds. I think it was during the fall, when the fall first hit, before the colds.
I can't remember per se. I would recommend the family goes to God's Way 298, check up under the playlist, go to EMA Barbs Corner up under the playlist, and you finally have to sit through the lessons there. But I think there might have been one specifically hitting on colds and flus.
Yes, colds and flus. And so today I just want to refresh your memory, family. First of all, let me say this to you. I love you, family. When the Father made you, he said, each of you, he said it was good and very good. And I just praise Yah for you. You don't know what it makes me feel like to know that you trust me into your home. The Father, he's created all things. I always say the leaves of the field are good for the healing of the nations. And because he made these things and created these things for us, we don't have to suffer, because while we're on this earth, as far as our body's concerned, when we know that he made these things for us, he's the repairer of the breach. He knows how to take care of these bodies. He made everything for us. He made everything for us. And it's not about me. Now, I want you all to know this, and some don't know. But I want you to, even if you have to close your eyes and think, this is not EMA talking, these are just some leaves of the field that the Father already made and prepared for us, and we lost knowledge of it as the years went on. And so now we're coming back to the knowledge of how to live healthy, whole, and sound. And as you apply these techniques and these herbal remedies, along with the word of the Most High, and seeking his face in prayer, all things, we can walk as he said for us to walk. Amen. So, my shout outs, I learned the new word, as shout outs to my babies, and I always say this, in Ohio, your Mima thinks you're wonderful, in Mississippi, in Texas, and all over this nation. Know this, that I love you, and I thank you for allowing me to come into your homes. Let everybody know EMA Barbs Corner, Health Corner, is alive and well. And we are live, and we're here to answer your questions and to aid you during your walk. I thank you all. I agree with the Creator. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Now, with all that being said, let's look at some of the things that the Creator made for us during this season. Now, we looked at those things, and I want to say this to you. Family, did you know you can use cinnamon? You can use cinnamon, yes, but be careful. When I say cinnamon, you want to use the cinnamon leaves. And make sure when you order the cinnamon leaves, I put my notes on this because guess what? I had a little bit of cinnamon oil on my hands, and it does burn just like cloves. But guess what? It gets rid of bacteria, it gets rid of viruses and all that. So in the wintertime, when viruses are still and everything are going on this time of the year, sometimes I'll put a little cinnamon oil, just a little bit of dab, mixed with a little castor oil, and just put a little bit around my head, so that if when I'm coming across anybody and I'm giving, I must love you guys, and I say this all the time, I give you all my little aids and my little information that I be doing. I do love them. Let me say this to you. So the cinnamon will kill bacteria. So before, just like cloves that you put in your mouth, and I remember I told you all about clove tea. I gave some clove tea to Mr. and he was having a good time. He felt so much better. Remember, okay, I'll tell you all. I let you all in my home and a lot of stuff, don't I? But he went out without anything on his head. He was sweat. He was filled with sweat. His clothes were drenching for 5 days because he went to the gym. And his pores were open. And that virus just said, here we are. And it went through him. And so with a lot of different things that goes on, which I'm gonna share a lot of things with you. I'm gonna open up a little bit of not a whole lot of my pantry to you guys today, but just a few things today that I'm gonna open up to you guys about today. And I told my brother Tobias that I'm not gonna be very long with you guys today because of some other previous engagements. But let me say this to you, family. Cinnamon, back to cinnamon. Cinnamon, you can put a little bit, if you go to now you know I'm not one to sponsor so many brand names, but I found that if you go to Now, they have a cinnamon oil, and you can put a little bit around, but keep in mind, just like cloves, it has a tendency to be hot chemically, because it's burning those bacteria and everything. So you want to be very, very careful when you're using cinnamon and clove oil. So put a little bit around my hair so that it doesn't burn my skin. And mix with a little castor oil, sort of dilutes it a little bit. And then when you go out, it has this beautiful aroma and also killing bacteria at the same time. So I just wanted you all to be aware of that. There's also some, this is what I'm gonna tell you too. And I bet you say, Emma, you always say, yeah, I gotta tell you this. Family, okay. I love, one of the things that I love is vinegar. I'm gonna tell you a little story about what I read a while back. You all know, I was one of those little nerds. You all, please excuse me. Bear with me while I give you this little bit of information. Self-information. What do you all call it, Tobiah? What is this you all call it? What's that slang when you give a little bit of information about a person that you didn't know? What is that? Is that? Okay, they don't have a little slang for that? What is that slang word? They had a slang word. I'll think about it, but a little FYI while you think about that slang that they use. Because I heard it one time and I was like, I'm gonna ask son Tobias about that. But anyway, we were in family. I was one of those kind of people that when it's because of my dad, blame my dad. He was one of those English majors and all that kind of thing that says,
I'm sorry, I said shalom.
Shalom, family. I bless y'all for you. Thank you for coming into the class today. This Emma thinks you're wonderful. I agree with you. Hadassah. I love that. Blessings, family. Psalms 91 all around about you is about a shield. Thank you for coming in. But let me finish telling you. So I was one of those people that I was in the library, even until until I got my own computer. Until I got my own computer, I was always in the library, trying to find out different things. When people say certain things, I want to know what is the basics for that. Why? I'm one of those people that look for the ins and the outs and the whys and all that kind of thing. So if you say something to me, it wasn't the fact that I come to you and say, why did you say that? No, I go and investigate. And I was one of those kind of people, family. So you all blame that on my dad. Blame that on me. But anyway, so back to what I was saying. So I've always wanted to know. So when people would say, if you're sick, my parents, we didn't have the money to go to doctors, and this is the reason why, another reason, just a little FYI, we didn't have the money to go to, what my dad said that they had, these people can run to the doctors all the time. We didn't have the money to do all that. So we had to listen to my grandmother, And she would tell us these different things. So just a little bit of things, the reason why I like this. But, so that's why. And when we would be a little feeling under the weather or whatever, they would always go and give these remedies and home remedies, which they still work. Now, what I want you to do, family, and I want to say this, and I'm talking really fast because, as we said, we're not going to be here long, but is this. A lot of you can go to the doctors, and I recommend that from time to time you go to the doctors, broken legs and all this kind of thing, go to the doctors and find out what's going on and how. But there are also some things that you can do at home called home health remedies, okay, family? So that you all know there's some home health remedies that you can do. And as I was telling one of my babies earlier this morning, a lot of times, we already know that the Creator has made all things for our good. And so when we can go to the doctors, find out what it is, and then to keep us from being more contaminated with other drugs and stuff like that, even though we are aware that some of these things, some of these leaves have been less powerful, and what was the other word you were going to say?
I thought you were saying that you were looking for contaminant.
That's it. Okay. That's the word. And so we know these things. And so with that, we pray over these leaves and ask the Father, allow them to manifest what you initiated to from the very beginning in my body. And that's how we work that. So your question was?
Yes, many y'all wants to know, besides liver, is there other foods that can be eaten to boost blood levels?
Yes, to boost blood levels? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, look, beets. Oh family, I forgot to tell you, you can eat beets, one of the things. Did you know, and it also cleanses the liver and the kidneys and right on my mind. Beets are really good. We had the other day, I roasted, I think I told you all this, I roasted some beets and some butternut squash, roasted, and in the oven. And it is, Mr. loves it. It cleanses out his liver and his kidneys out. Beets are one thing you can do. Do you know Swiss chard is excellent for it to boost your blood levels? Oh, my King and Creator. So meat is not the only way. And you, good question. And you know what I'm chewing on. Today, family, I'm happy. You know, let me say this to you real quick. I used to wonder, and I used to see older people, and they always had stuff in their mouth. Always. They would be finished dinner, and they still have something swishing around their mouth. Do you know what? And now, here I am, always have something in my mouth. So, it's either, and this is a good thing, family, before I continue on about the blood, to boost the blood, and to purify the blood. Did you know we keep cloves in our mouth, which also gets rid, when you go in the area, it gets rid of the bacteria, and it gets rid of all of this. Also myrrh, which the Creator did for that. Myrrh is another thing, so when you go out in the weather and you're around people, and it cleanses out all of this, and it keeps your, so it's like it's astringent. It's astringent. I'm going to tell you about some of the astringents today. And it's going to keep your system all cleansed and pure and stuff like that. So you want, and I just happen to keep frankincense and myrrh in my mouth during this time amongst, sometimes you'll see me with cloves, frankincense and myrrh, or you'll see me with fennel in my mouth, and different things like that. Let me give you a real quick, and I'm gonna hit on that. Don't forget your question. Okay, then? Okay, so, and Mr. was chewing, he was like, he had this thing that was going on in his throat. And I made some clove tea, and he said about the sore throat. So I mixed a little bit of clove with a little bit of thyme, and made it taste applied to his taste buds. And it was really, really good. And within the hour, family, I'm just saying within the hour, there's so many things that help with the healing of your body and push the contaminants out. Let me say this to you. A lot of times when viruses and flus and bacteria hit your body, they just allow you to know what your body's weak in. So if your body's weak in something and it's trying to throw stuff off, you want to look and see why they're weak and what is it that you're lacking in your body that you're needing. A lot of times, sometimes bacteria comes I used to always say, our situations came just to pass. Just came just to pass. Check you out in the past. And when you pass every test, this is just a test. I used to say all the time, this is just a test. So when you are having a virus or bacteria or cold, notice, family, what is it that your body is, because your body will talk to you, actually. Your body will talk to you and tell you what you're lacking in. So keep in mind, if you want to make sure that your vitamins are up, A, B, C, D, and E. Now keep in mind, when you're doing your D, you need your calcium. Make sure you have your calcium, because a lot of times doing too much, a lot of D, and I've said this on one of the other occasions, D will take some of the calcium out of your body. But there are other herbs that will aid in putting. Did you know parsley will add calcium to your body? Basil is good for calcium. It has 101 mgs per tablespoon of calcium. So with that, well, because you know I love to put my time, so sometimes I'm joining this. I'm sorry, I'll do that. It's me. So, but anyway, did you know even basil is high in calcium, family? A lot of other things that your grilled spices are high in calcium. What? Emma Barb? Yes. Look, did you know cinnamon is high in calcium? When you drink your cinnamon, it's high in calcium. Burdock is high in calcium. Look, this here is here for a reason. I just wanted you all to know some of these herbs, we call them herbs, but these are just, this is what we call them. But cinnamon is not only kills bacteria, fungal, and all that, but it's high in calcium. So when you're doing vitamin C, make sure you're doing little things like that. I'm going to try to post something on there so you all see what it is, okay? So you see how to increase your, you know what, I made a note while we're at that. So I had a sister that was telling me the other day about that she was low in calcium. And so I wanted to make sure that you all were aware. And I made a little note to a friend of mine that what are just a few, let me tell you something, I made a little note for you guys so I wouldn't forget. And I put it in my phone. Tobias is teaching me how to use his phone. What? Yeah. I've had this phone for so long. You all said, not charge it to, don't charge it to, just charge it because you know what? I'm not gonna tell you how, but I'm up in that age where the young people have to teach us how to use what we already have in our hands. But let me tell you some of the things that I made a note for you guys. Okay, did you know, and I'm saying this really quickly, you know, parsley, cilantro, basil, oregano, thyme, dill. I love dill. I eat dill on a lot of vegetables. Dill, all these type of things are high. There's a spice called savory, S-A-V-O-R-Y. It's called savory. Did you know celery? Oh, I forgot to. Celery seeds are high in calcium. Rich in calcium, celery seeds. What have I thought? So these are just a few that I'm just naming, and I'm trying to be really quickly. Just a few things that I'm just wanting you all to know that are high in calcium. Cilantro, you know I love cilantro too. So know this, family. These things are high in calcium. So when you do your vitamin D, make sure you have your calcium and all that. And all I forgot to tell you, these are some of the things we've been eating on this today. And I just brought this because I normally, family, you know me, I normally I didn't make my hummus for a couple days, I've been dealing with some other things. But, and I normally dip it with celery or cucumbers. This is high in vitamin C. These are little bitty peppers. And something as simple as this, little bitty peppers. Now, I don't support the brand or anything like that, you all know me. But just the fact that this is high in vitamin, one thing, high in vitamin C. You can give these to children, it'll boost their immune system. You can give it to them in your hummus dips, or if you want to buy hummus and still. I just love chickpeas myself. And so you can put this and let them get it, and let them think that they're doing something great. Cut them up to, so I normally slice these in half with my grandbabies, and they love the colors. And I'll just slice these into fours, and then let them dip some hummus or what spinach dip. I make them, you know. But anyway, no, I'm sorry. I put it in there. So I let them do their little dip thing, and they get the vitamin C in it, and a lot of other nutrients. These little bitty things are high in nutrients, and then I put a little dill, you know me, I add a little dill and all that stuff in it. But I do the celery, I do those little peppers, I do cucumbers. Somebody asked me, Ema, what do you eat during the day? I'll do a post, tell you all. Try to get a little post, y'all can know some of the little things that I do. I was telling one of my babies here in St. Louis, I love blanched, where you blanch, you know what I mean, blanched, where you just boiling water and you just make sure your green leafy vegetables. Now, green leafy vegetables are clean and everything. And then in the boiling water, put a little bit of salt, Himalayan salt, and a little bit of oil in it. I normally use either coconut oil or avocado oil, and let that in there, and I'll just put it in there for a couple of minutes, like about a minute, just enough to let the green part come out, and that's called blanching. You're keeping the nutrients in there, you're waking them up, and then you're able to eat them. And this is fantastic. Oh, what I started saying. Okay, the Swiss chard and your spinach and your broccoli, just blanch it and put whatever you want. And those are, what is with my family that don't like green vegetables? Surprise, what is with my family that don't like green vegetables? What is
Some of them as children that they don't want to eat them as adults. Some of them may take them as children, and since they're adults now, I get to pick what I'm eating, and I'm not eating that. But a lot of people, they live to eat instead of eating to live. So I mean, with that mindset in place, you'll stay away from this.
You want to say, family, I want you to do, could you help me help you today? Is that the way that I heard about students? Okay, help me. Family, okay, we have the opportunity to change our own taste buds. And because we can take, one of my babies in mine said something to me that really made sense. She said, Nima, what she did, and I'm one of these, I'm not trying to put my babies out there. I'm not trying to put their business out there. I'm not trying. So you don't know who they are.
Okay.
She knows, they know who they are, but this is for them. So she says, you know what? I wait till when they come to school, I wait till they're really, really hungry. And then I have vegetables, fresh vegetables out there, or fresh fruit out there that they can eat. And she said, I cut them up, and then I put it, and she said, that's how I've been working for them. And I was like, great idea. Let me tell my babies that when you get really hungry, and it's the only thing that, and I used to do that for our son. That's how I got him years ago on fruit and vegetables. He would be really, really hungry, and we would go to the market, and I'm telling you a little bit, and I know, if you tell a little bit, tell me when my time's up, but a little bit of time, and so we would go, to the market, and we get this different market, we would do celery, all these different kind of vegetables, so we didn't have the money to do candies and all this other kind of stuff, because we couldn't do it, we couldn't afford it. When we went to the market, and we would get these things from the market and come back home. And during the week, when he would need something or want something to eat, he said, Mom, there's nothing in it. And I'd have apple, orange, pears, tangerines, and all these type of things around there. So he would know to grab it, and that's what developed his taste buds. Bananas and all these type of things around. So family, try that with your babies. Hallelujah. And I know it's so easy. Let me say this. It's easy to grab snacks. But that's all you got around there. Just something to help. You have a question?
Yes, Natural Sweet Tooth is asking, what's good to cure acid reflux?
Okay. Do this. For acid reflux, you can do a little bit of parsley. Do some parsley water and drink it down. And believe it or not, one of the things that does help, and you would say, how can you combat acid with acid? This is not really acid, when it gets down to your stomach, it turns to alkaline. Lemon water. It will help with acid reflux. What? I'm telling you, it's true, it works. You could do lime water. That helps with acid reflux. And those are just a few. These are just a few, family. Can you believe that? Just lemons help with acid reflux. Yeah, it works. It's an alkaline, so it'll take care of that. And then, you know what? Thank you for that question, because there's a lot of things other than those. Those are just a few. And I'll try to put something in the post. Tobias, remind me to put some more in the post about that. And it's a whole list I'm gonna come up with, family. So to start off with, I'm gonna try to remember to put that in there today, family. Okay, I'll try to remember. Tobias, help me to remember to put that in the post today. And I'm just telling you all, I try. Now the reason why you all see me keep going back and forth, I have Mr. when he's here, he helps me to do my little, whatever with my little iPad. Now, family, let me get back on one more thing, and I want to make sure. Now, when we say, I was telling you about cinnamon. I was telling you about clove that kill bacteria and fungus. I was telling you about, let me tell, I wanted to tell you this, and I have so much information, family, and then we're gonna get back to this. But family, I have so much information to tell you all. I mean, I just love you all. And this is just some of the questions that were posed to me prior. And I wanted to tell you, do you know instead of, and this really works. Let me tell you about a story. This story starts with years ago when they had the bubonic plague, and in England. And you know what they did? And they were wondering, how is it that these Black people that we have here, and please forgive me when I say this, because, well, anyway. How is it that when you have these people, they're just walking around and all these sicknesses going on and they're not affected? So they began to follow the Blacks and learn this secret. And then they began to do it. There was one guy, and I'm telling you this, so and I hope you go in and investigate in it. One of the things that they did was they would go out and they use these herbs and these spices, and guess what happened? They were robbing. And they were like, how is it that these people are going in these homes with a bubonic plague and it doesn't touch them, and they are not sick, and they're robbing and cleansing these things and reusing them? What is the deal? So they found out that there's some things that they were using, and they used to call it, now here we go, and I'll try to remember. Tobias put on the thing for me so that I can remember how to, what to put down in there so they'll see. The bubonic plague, they were using vinegar. They were using cloves, cinnamon, orange, lemons. These are extracts that really kill bacteria. And that's one of the things I came to tell you today. And I was going to get on this, but I got another thought. So, family, and I sidetrack all the time. So, family, please excuse me. I'm not trying to be, so please excuse me while I take my sweater off. So, family, look, I wrote all these things down. Now remember, if you go back in my class that we had before, we talked about the different herbs for different things. Now someone came to my thought and they said, EMA, you spoke about in one of the classes about hyssop. How do we use hyssop? Now these different herbs, family, I want you to remember less is best. So you're gonna acclimate your body to these things and how to build up your immune system and push those. Now remember, sicknesses and things like that, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they just came to show you in what areas you're needing more nutrients in, or where you lacked in vitamins and different things like that. And when you aid the body, these things came to aid the body. Remember that? Things come to aid your body. So when you do this, you are helping the body to build itself up and to continue on, okay? That's one thought. So, hyssop and juniper berries. Oh, I forgot to tell you about juniper berries too. I'll remember that. Okay, hyssop is one of those things where it's a nice little cute little plant, and you can use it but you want to, less is best. So you can, if you get it, you can get it as an extract, or you can get it as the herb itself. When you use it, do not do strength, because you don't want to push your immune system out of balance. So you use a little bit at a time. Now, one of the things I want to tell you about is, and I've made all my notes, so I won't get off too far. Y'all know I'm known to get off and go past beyond my starting off. Family, did you know, let me say this to you, because remember I started to tell you about the vinegar. Vinegar is stronger than bleach. You say, how can you say that, EMA? Okay, remember they used the bleach when they did the fake Jews in the concentration camp. So when it gets into your system, there are a lot of things it might deteriorate. So if you look it up, bleach doesn't kill every bacteria, every virus or anything like that. But what it does do, it kills a lot, but not every. But the vinegar is still vinegar. It will kill a lot. You could put vinegar and tea tree oil, and you can spray it in the room. Now, remember I told you guys about onion, how you can put a piece of onion in the room and it gets rid of the bacteria, or bay leaves. Bay leaves will kill the bacteria. But you could also take, now remember we said that the Father is, when he just made one thing from one thing, he didn't make, there's a plethora of other things that he made the same thing for. So, you can take vinegar. As a matter of fact, that's what we use in our house. A lot of vinegar, distilled water, vinegar. And you can take vinegar, add a little tea tree oil to it, and you can kill mold. What? It's just that strong. Bacteria, viruses, and things like that. So next time, what we want to do, get some vinegar, and it won't kill a lot of brain cells, and it won't have that destroys the nasal passages. So you can get vinegar from dollar store or whatever, and get a little bit of tea tree oil and put it. And I'll try to remember to post that how you can do that. But check this out. So when I say disinfectant, let me tell you about the disinfectant real quick. Disinfectant and there are herbs that heal and even retard its growth. It's from growing. And you can do it from it can rot. Now, check this out. Your disinfectant, your bacteria and growth, it rots the internal parts of the body. What? Yeah. Did you know bacteria and viruses can rot your internal parts of the body? So we're going to show you how to keep that from happening. With vinegar. Remember some of the things, before I heard one of my other brothers say about vinegar, we used to, my nana used to keep red apple cider vinegar, and she used to keep the white vinegar. And the house about the time, I was like, just like when I told you they used to keep stuff in their mouth all the time, you think they're trying to eat, and they be on something. This wax sticks or one, or liquor sticks or one, they just keep stuff in their mouth. The old people, but now I'm one of the little old people. But check this out. They used to keep the vinegar in the house. So when they would do this, I'm like, what is going on? And so when now she would use vinegar, and I'm like, what is? So then back on track. Apple cider vinegar. I use that. Oh, another thing. Then take a little bit of apple cider vinegar. That also helps helps with acid reflux. A little bit, don't do a whole lot, just a little bit. I would put like a capful in a 4-ounce glass of water. It also balances, and when it hits the stomach, it's a good kind of balance for acid reflux. So keep that in mind too, okay? Just a little bit, you don't need a lot. That's the best. So I would drink apple cider vinegar often to sell my stomach. Acid reflux. And I used to think, okay, girl, I just did it because Grandma told me to. A little bit of apple cider vinegar. Some people can't handle, I have a friend that cannot handle apple cider vinegar. Sometimes she'll just use distilled the white. I don't really recommend a whole lot of that, but because it's those that are used to it, and she's a nurse, so I guess she knows what she's doing. more than, so I can't say anything on that. But I can say the apple cider vinegar is really good. But the white vinegar will kill bacteria. And you take a little bit in a bottle. Listen, take this much, and it worked in my room because my husband was getting tired of just me using the bay leaf sometimes. And so I took a distilled water, distilled vinegar, and put some tea tree oil. And I spritz his pillows and the bed when I make his bed. Now during this cold season, and if your babies are having colds and viruses and things like that, make sure at least you change your pillowcases. If not every other day, I would recommend every other day. So pillowcases around probably cost about $2 or $3 at the dollar store or whatever. Go to the dollar store, get your pillowcases and change your pillowcase. Put 2 on one pillow at a time so that it'll kind of shield the pillow itself. But and that's what I did. And he loves the fragrance, and it killed the bacteria in the room. So when you're changing your pillowcases or your sheeting, make sure you're bedding. You can spritz a little bit of that in there, and you can add a little bit of tea, along with the tea tree oil, which is sometimes what I do. The vinegar, you can do the tea tree oil, vinegar, and what was the other one I was thinking about? Cloves or peppermint, and eucalyptus. Oh, I forgot eucalyptus. You can do that. Do a little bit of eucalyptus. And it cleanses and puts some drops, so many drops in there, and it kills the bacteria in the room. Now, for those who don't have the substantial means for all that, just use you can do tea tree oil and vinegar, the white vinegar, and you can even mix in a little bit of that bay leaves in it and put that in there and spritz the room and spritz so you can change the bedding right down the line, and it helps get rid of disinfect your bedding and around the area. Yes, love.
Brandy Day. How to get rid of gas and blow?
Gas it. You know what? Okay, gas. You know what you do? Cloves. Cloves keep the gas away. You put cloves in your mouth, or you drink clove tea. Those are just one thing. Just one. You can drink peppermint extract. Gets rid of gas because it helps with intestines. You can do that. You can drink bergamot helps with gas. Bergamot tea helps with gas. And the bloatiness on the inside. Family, you can drink lemon water. Lemon water can help with that as well. Gets rid of bloatiness and gas. And you know what let me say this to you. Bailey's, I was talking to one of my babies, and we were talking about the anise. Anise, you can take a little bit of the anise. You know what I do? Sometimes in the morning when I do an oil pull in the mornings with coconut oil, and from time to time I use a capsule of anise. Okay, you can put anise, A-N-I-S-E. Anise is an extract. I think I brought some of this today. No, I didn't. You could use a little bit of anise, and the anise will, you can put it when you're oil pulling, and we're gonna get on that later, and I think I talked about that on one of the episodes. And you can put that in your mouth and swim it around, and guess what? It gets into your system, and it pushes gas out. It works. Parsley is good for that as well. Yeah. Activated charcoal works, bentonite clay works, but when you're doing that, Freddie, listen to this, depending on, when you're using your activated charcoal, please don't use metal spoons, to stir, use a plastic spoon, remember? And when you use your activated charcoal, first, thank you for looking out, great thoughts. Because I was going to come back and put a whole list, but you just get it. You want this, and I love you for that. Now, activated charcoal, when you're using activated charcoal for the gas, do this at night before if you're having issues with that, what you're going to do, you can do the bentonite clay, the meals, or do parsley after your meals. That helps with that. But when it comes to bentonite clay, you want to just cleanse your system or intestine because it's going to expand. You put a little bit, so with these particular type of things that I'm going to tell you about, don't use metal spoons, use plastic spoons because it's going to draw the metals, heavy metals out of the body. Out of the spoons and what you're using. And make sure you use glass containers when you do that, when you drink it out. So put about a third, Fred, are you using a full teaspoon or are you using a half teaspoon for your activated charcoal? And how much water are you using? Because you want to use at least a third of a teaspoon with about a 4 ounce or an 8 ounce glass of water. You're going to follow up with another glass of water to make sure you have, because the activated charcoal is going to dry you out. You want to make sure you have enough in you so it pushes out and it's not going to dry you out or dehydrate you. And you're going to do the same thing with bentonite clay, the kind you drink, okay? So you can do the same thing, but make sure you're hydrated really well, okay? So, good looking out. I appreciate you, girl. Did they say they use a lot of
didn't say. The last comment one before that said, love you too, your mom.
Oh.
And right after that, they say, oh, got it.
Got
it. Now they're saying I'm using about 6 to 8 ounce glasses and 2 open capsules.
2 open capsules? 2 open capsules, probably about a teaspoon. Remember, don't use metal. Use a plastic spoon. And use that. So you're probably using about a teaspoon to half a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half. It's probably depending on the size of the capsules. So when you're doing that and you're mixing it in with distilled water, because distilled water will help push those toxins out, and it actually acts as a catalyst with your with the activated charcoal or your bentonite clay. So make sure you're drinking ample water so you don't dehydrate yourself, or you're pulling out. Make sure you're not pulling out more nutrients out of your body than necessary. Okay. I love you too much. Any other questions out there? Okay. So family, keep it in mind. Okay, I'm going to cut this off, and I'll come back with this next week. So real quickly, the reason why I brought these things here. So I start to say you can use now. Don't look at the name brand, but this is what I use a lot of in the house. It's eucalyptus, and you can add the eucalyptus with your vinegar, with your tea tree, or if you want to go a little further, or you can do this, with your lemon or your orange. A lot of people like the citrus smell, so they don't add this with the citrus smell. Sometimes they add this, but this is one of the aids that you can do that, and it kills bacteria and it kills viruses. Family, don't forget your sambuca, which is elderberry. Your elderberry. And that is what do you call it? A beast. It's a beast. Family, it's a beast. Believe me. I made some tea from this with just some hot water, but this is just, and it's 12,000 energies in it. But this is a beast. It's another thing that will help, and it'll boost your body, and it'll aid your body, and it'll help it to help you. These are just some aids that help to help you. Remember these things. Now remember we talked about these things prior. And also one more thing, this is one of the things that I brought to one of my babies here in class. And she and her husband, now I know we're going through this issue right now with China, and you say, EMA, I don't know whether I trust the Chinese because of all this crap. Well, oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. All the things that's going on with those viruses and what they eat and stuff like that. But this is actually a plant. I want you to see it. They call it lo han ka. All this is in here is this particular plant, this particular seed. And they add a little sucrose to it to make it sweet. But will boost your immune system. And I got one of my other babies here in the class, and that's really swear, but she agrees with this. Make it as a tea, and it boosts, it'll help you boost your immune system. Now, another thing, all these things that I'm showing you, and don't forget your cinnamon family, and then I'm out. But don't forget the eucalyptus, don't forget your myrrh, don't forget and these are just some things you want in your cabinet. I start off telling you about the apple cider vinegar and cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper will kill bacteria. That's why we do it in the mornings, family. So when you come across different things, your body's already boosted. Cayenne pepper is vitamin C. It's vitamin C, family. And the vitamin C will boost your immune system. And according to a lot of other things that I told you all about, look at some of the other episodes we talked about how to boost the immune system. So when you add in your cayenne pepper, your vinegar, your apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of honey, that boosts your immune system, and it gets all the throat and everything ready to go off. So we're going to be talking about this next thing about disinfectant and antiseptics, because it's killing the septics in the body and around about you that comes just to, the scripture says they come to kill, steal, and to destroy, but we don't let that happen in our bodies, because he came to bring us life and that much more abundantly. This EMA thinks you are wonderful, and I praise the Creator for you. So let me agree with the Creator for you. Okay, family, don't forget the mullein. Mullein is for coughs. Don't forget, I told you about that. And we'll talk more about mullein next week. And look at the other episode where we talked about the elderberry and slippery elm and thyme. You want to make sure you keep thyme and make your tea, put the THYME. Amen. I know we gotta go, but this EMA thinks you're wonderful. I thank the Creator for you. He's made all things pertain to life and godliness. And because he's done that, he's made a way. We don't have to suffer in this, where we can go right on and do exactly what he says. He prepared everything for us with. So I love you. I thank the Creator for you. Psalms 91 all around about you. Blessings on your day. Keep focus on the word. The word is what works. The word works. And he's given all things pertaining to life and godliness. This EMA thinks you're wonderful. Blessings.